Hey guys, it's Angel. Welcome back to the channel. And today we're taking a look at Xtreme Prototypes Lear 25. Now this is native to 2020, but it is compatible with 2024, which is where we are testing it. And this is a study level Learjet 25. Now Lear 25 itself is, you'll see some liveries and things that come with the aircraft here, quite a good selection. So the Learjet 25 is a 10-seat-ish, up to, 2 crew and 8 passengers, twin-engine high-speed business jet, produced by Learjet, and it's a stretched version of the Lear 24. Now, it is used by a couple of militaries, including Bolivia and Mexico, but it was manufactured between 1966 and 1982, and it has about 370 of them produced. Like I said, it's a stretched version of the Lear 24, about 4 feet longer, so 3 additional passenger spaces in there. Not every layout's the same. A lot of these ones have got less seats in them, of course. But there's a pair of General Electric CJ610-6 engines in there, providing a lot of oomph for the aircraft. Always helpful. Now, there are some other variations in this, of course, and they put this out originally for Prepare 3D, and for X-Plane, it's been in different variants of X-Plane, of course, as a developer. This is completely new, though, to 2020, so it's completely native materials in this one. This is not an old plane that's been rehashed, and it certainly looks pretty good, actually, is what I have to say so far. But in terms of actual performance on a base model D, we're looking at, as I mentioned, those engines putting out about 2,900 foot-pounds of torque or thrust each. Cruise speed is up to 464 knots, Mach 0.81, and that's at 41,000 feet. Stall speed's around 91 knots, which is wheels and flaps down. That's indicated. Range is about 1,500 nautical miles with 4 passengers, max fuel, and a 45-minute reserve. So that's a pretty great performance. And a rate of climb is up to 6,000 feet a minute. We will be testing that. Now, this aircraft in particular, in general, has been known to be a fighter jet in civilian clothing. It's one of the most common things said about the Lear 25. And we will be seeing if that's true today. Yeah. So this is £26 or so, about $36 or 49 Canadian dollars. 14 variations, like I showed you earlier. And it has full systems in this aircraft. And in terms of what it's offering you, we have loads of animations, extra sounds, great new sound system in this one as well. Tons of cool little features. We'll take a look around inside it. And with multiple LODs, high-resolution PBR textures. Well, the materials are PBR, the textures are not, because you can't be a PBR texture. It's not a real thing. But different systems, lighting, everything can be run exactly by the manuals. Exactly as you need to. And there's some really cool hideable bits and bobs in here as well. So we'll take a look around as we see it. But let's hop inside the plane and take a look, shall we? It's the bit you'll want to see, of course. So let's hop down here. Now, a bit of a walk around the outside. So whilst, like I said, 2020 native, so these various items are not removable in third person because it's not 24 native. But in terms of, okay, so not the best resolution. It says it's 4096 external textures, but I think the mapping is a bit small, which makes me think these are potentially textures from an earlier version of the aircraft they made. So it could be that it has new materials and it has the same high-resolution textures, but the mapping is small. So, for example, you can have a 4096 texture sheet and put the whole fuselage side on it, like this. And you'll have a fairly decent size to work with, but you'll be limited in what you can do. Or you can split the fuselage in half and put it on 2 texture sheets and have twice the resolution. Yeah, multiple texture sheets is not a problem in these modern Sims, so why not to do it? Although that's quite crisp lettering, despite the fact the other stuff around it isn't. So potentially that the livery is definitely higher res than some of the background textures on there, because, yeah, a little bit of blurring definitely happening. Not what I would have expected, though, from them saying it's high-resolution textures. It's not bad, it's just, in this day and age, there was an expectation of crisper, I would suppose I'd say. Let's hop on inside. Now, inside, I will say it's very pretty. Any misgivings I had for the exterior don't exist. Cool thing, by the way. Click on the little handle here, and you can change the seat covers. You can bet we are going for sheepskin. Looks very, very snazzy. Now, as you saw in the front here, there are no pilots in there. Now, what happens is I can click on these, and make our crew appear. Now, if I want to change the pilot, I believe I click on the center of the yoke here. We could have Mr. Grouchy Hairy Dude. We can have Clean Cut Boy. We can have Grouchy Dude. We can have Grouchier Dude. Yeah, nice. So, some pilot options. Not the 2020 native characters, of course, not the 24 ones either, but it's nice to have at least something that looks appropriate. Pity there's no female characters with it being changeable. Would be cool to have another option there. So, not everything here is clickable, of course. These cans and things, drinks, stay in place where they are. Otherwise, we'll look over this stuff in a moment. We'll take a look at the back first. Bathroom is here. Now, one thing I found a little disappointing is you can't click a lot of these things in here. Drawers are all closed, and one thing I've liked about more modern business jets we've seen in the newer Sims, 20 and 24, and like I said, this includes 20 native stuff. Now, I don't expect the taps to work, but it'd be cool. Although this is the most public bathroom ever, right up here at the front. I suppose it's the only place for it, but the galley and the pooper next to each other. And you have to sit in front of the entire everybody to use it. And it looks pretty congested in here, so I'd have thought more practical to close that off as a curtain and close something else here, because, like, I don't know where your legs are going in here unless you're sitting that way in a very confined space. We could open the refrigerator, which is the only animation that's there really in the back, which seems cool, but, like, where's the rest of it, you know? Like, that could be done. Now, in the back here, we have bits and bobs. We have a table out here, but we can't extend the others, which, again, is a fairly routine animation to see. And we also can't affect the blinds, and there's a bit more texture bleeding around the window there. Oh, the main hatch. There we go. Pull that up. Lock it in place. There we go. So, yeah, back here you've got the other seats. Now, again, all this stuff's just fixed there. You can't remove them or click them. Again, one of the things I like about some of the business jets we've seen in the sim is that we tend to get a bunch of interactive options. And this is tried. Like I said, the refrigerator does, and the TV does, which we'll do once we've actually got power on, because you need power on for it to work. So let's go about and do that, shall we? Okay, so, batteries on is there. I'm not going to follow the checklist for this because it takes time. And I don't like time. Time is boring. We'll make sure our jet pumps are on down here. There we go. And we'll make sure we go to... It's fairly easy to start, actually, this one. Inverters on. And we'll go to... Hit start on there. Now, parking brake is here, by the way. What is cool about this is if you want to reach various things underneath things, you can click here and hide the throttle levers, which is super neat. I do actually appreciate that feature. Yoke's hideable down here. Turns off for now. Okay, I've done both engines at once, which really isn't what you should be doing. Now, let me make sure I've tabbed those in. There we go. So that should be our engines actually firing. The bit. So we'll let it go to... Oh, let's make sure we actually are staying still. Because one thing I've noticed is it tries to creep on me. Okay. No. There we go. See, the parking brake is actually on. See? And she creeps. Oh, God. Hello. No, stop, 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 stop. That's because I had power applied. Let's make sure we stay still here. Please stop. The brakes are not very effective in this aircraft at all. Like, I really feel the brakes are really weak. Including the parking brake, because I have to keep one actual toe brake pressed at all times to try and keep it stationary. So I'm going to have to be quick about this. So let's make sure we have our generators on now. Stall warnings on. Okay. Let's make sure we are normal for the air. Are you staying still? We're staying still, just about. My foot's falling asleep from being down like this. Okay, engine anti-ice. Remember where those are. So our pitot heating for a start we do want on. Nacelle heat, that's what we wanted. Okay. Everything else is looking alright on here. Let's instrumentation on. Which will require us to find that one down here. Where did you hide it? Okay, anti-skid we definitely want on. And I remember where the button was. It was here. I'm being blind. I know it's in front of me. Oh, hydraulic pump is going to be on. And I pressed the button before. I genuinely pressed this button. So I know I've pressed it. And it should be in front of me because it should be the avionics one. And you're probably staring at it and screaming at me, Radio Master. There we go. Sorry, I was having a brain moment. Now, this isn't even the default weather radar in the sim because this seems to be a static image on there, which is across all pages. Little odd, because I know that does work. Now, I did note the readout for the addresses there. That's probably a 24 to 20 sim issue. Let's make sure our trim is all in the window. It is set as it should be. Now, we'll quickly go back here. We'll go, if I can get over my shoulder. Yeah. Now, there's a whole customization pack where you can customize liveries. It will allow you to customize the stuff on the TV screen here, and I'm pretty sure it's just an image. You could put like a program if you wanted, but it actually can't play stuff. It's inlet heater, so turn this off. Now, we'll want to make sure we put the cooling system on cooling. Okay. Now, yeah, system cooling. Right. Is that uncaged? I thought I'd uncaged. There we go. Okay. Right, let's take this bird for a fly, shall we? Now, there we go. Now notice, even with the parking brake actually on here, she's still rolling. And this is me completely brakes off. I'm not braking. I've got my throttles are based out here at 0. I've even hit F1 on my keyboard to neutral out the throttles as much as possible. And we're gaining speed and rolling, so she's got a lot of thrust. I feel this has got definitely plenty of potential, but it definitely seems like it has some things that are... No. Things that could be different, I think. Right, set our... The flap lever doesn't move. Interesting. This is what I mean about it running away from me before I could even look up. I had my throttle still idled out, so it shouldn't have actually been moving there. Rather than running off the side of the runway, so she's a little spirited. Right, so I'm going to arm the thrust reversers now actually on the runway. There we go, they are armed. Okay, we're at maximum thrust, rolling. We'll go outside and get some sounds once we get ourselves moving here. 120. Rotating. Oh, she's a loud beastie, isn't she? Gear coming up. Flaps coming up. Screaming like a Lear. Now, of course, in terms of fuel on this aircraft, Wi-Fi, no. My throttles were there. I don't know why he was showing me I'd rolled those back. No, it's doing it again. What are you doing there? That is very odd. No. What are you trying to control here? That was surreal. It's trying to go into auto throttle mode. A little bit of trim here. Now I know we're not doing 120. We are only doing 135. Okay, fine. Slower than I thought for something that's this fast. And again, it's pulling my throttles back. Yeah, that's very bizarre. What are you doing to me? That is so bizarre. Like, it's controlling my actual thrust. It didn't do this when I tested it last. And I tested this last at the same airport, same location, and I wasn't getting it doing that to me. So, and you might think it's a hardware issue, but I have no issue on anything else. Only this, and it's, again, engaged the autopilot there. That is so surreal. You know what? Just to make sure this isn't a 2024 compatibility issue, I'm going to stop the review right here. We're going to go back to 2020, and we're going to check it out right there and see if it's doing the exact same thing. Because if any of these are bugs that are just from 24, we're going to find out right now. So stay with me. Okay, so here we are in 2020. Going to give it a test, and one thing you're going to notice immediately, by the way, is I'm going up to full power here, and the parking brake holds me. So less compatible with 2024 than we thought, because the parking brake doesn't apparently do anything, whereas here it does. So I'm at full power. So I'm going to release this now because otherwise we're going to go a bit too far. So there we go. And there's a possible chance, by the way, the throttle thing was my end. It shouldn't be because I fixed my stuff recently, so I know my current throttle profile did not have extra buttons or things assigned to it that hardware were conflicting with, so it shouldn't have been that. Okay, speed's building up. We're looking good so far. Okay, gonna rotate here. Once the nose wants to come up. Gears coming up. Flaps coming up. Loud beastie. So yeah, my throttles are behaving themselves right now. We'll see how well this does. Let's make sure we switch over my page here. So another thing I didn't talk about, by the way, is the tape player down here. You can actually click a tape in there. You can. There's 4 tracks, and you can press the button there to actually engage it. No, I don't care about you. We're doing a review. We don't want to talk to you. Throttles are still good right now, so that's behaving. Not sure what was causing that, but it was definitely very weird. Now, is she like a fighter jet? This is the important part here to go with. In fact, let's do a climb. Because apparently it's like 6,000 feet a minute. Let's go. Let's see what 6,000 feet a minute feels like when we're not accelerated stalling. Well, we're climbing. No, I don't want to acknowledge you. I don't like you at all. In fact, yeah, go away. Put our nose down again here. Pull some of his power out. So she can climb, that's for sure. Certainly no problems there. Coming through 7,000, went to 10,000 feet, and we should be good. Although my airspeed's actually dropping pretty low. That's a weird part here. I'm not actually getting the speed I'd be expecting with this. Leave me alone. I don't care about you. You're not important. Yeah, genau.
Foxtrot Alpha Sierra Oscar Bravo Oscar frequency change.
Right. I'm not going to talk to you, but I'm going to tune. Okay? Thank you. So, maxed out on power here. Let's get ourselves level. Now it's building us some speed. Bring it around. Quite a tight turn there, actually. There's the airport for us. Wow, okay, so we've actually put some big altitude in for the distance we're actually at. Let's see just how aerobatic she is. We're rolling a business jet, because why not? There we go. Sluggish, but again, it's a business jet. What's to be surprised about there? Okay. Oh, let's get our nose down, a bit of trim in there. She's getting suddenly very nose heavy. Let's pull all our power out now, bring her around and down. So it flies the same as it does in 24. Yes, I'm aware I haven't got that down. Thank you. Spoilers out. Just lose some speed. How do the spoilers look? Yeah, spoilers up on the wings there. Burning some speed and altitude. So we've got quite a lot of both, but we don't need either. Okay. There's Innsbruck. There's our oxygen mask. So 2020 wise, it looks very much similar. Like I said, I'm not going to play that cassette because copyright music, I don't have the copyright for it. Don't want to get a strike. But you can play it, you click it in, you press play. You can even, this is stereo, you can usually dial the stereo thing that's on the left there and go to either side. In fact, I'll just trim us out here so we're not going to explode instantly. And I'll show you here. But yeah, there's even a cartridge to put in, an 8-track. No, let's not put that in. Don't want to play that and ruin this video. So yeah, everything may function per exactly as a checklist. There's no systems depth to it, I will say. It's study level, yes, in that everything is working as it should do, or in theory, weather radar excluded. But the level of depth in the aircraft does not appear to exist the same way. Now, there's some good visual effects to it. There's good features. There's things in the cabin I would like to have seen differently, for certain. And it does have very good sounds, that's for sure. Cockpit and exterior sounds are wonderful. Loads of views, there's an extensive manual. But at the same time, I'm not sure. Like, it feels like it's offering itself up as a higher end add-on than it actually is. It's nice, but in a field of extensive business jets, including the Citation X and FlySimware's Lear 35, it's not offering anything particularly saucy that would encourage me to want to put this money on it. Alright, let's begin our turnaround before we set ourselves up here. In fact, we're going to leave the spoilers out because we need to burn off more of this speed. Yeah, we need a lot more speed burnt off here. We have a long way to get down there. But the gear is down now, so we could probably put 1-notch flaps in and drop our nose. We're going to have to do a 360 here. No doubt we're not going to lose that speed in time unless I keep the spoilers deployed and hope for the best. We're going to do just that. I think we might be okay. Yeah, this is a bit of a Spirit approach. So, if you are European and don't know who Spirit are, we're going to do a Ryanair. Okay. Which should be a good test of the fighter jet in civilian clothing. We've lost plenty of speed now, so I'm definitely going to pull the spoilers in. Interesting how it actually adjusts the position of the yoke. Like the yoke's actually forward when it does that. Okay, so our speed's about 120. Okay, so we've got a fairly steep angle, but it's coming in okay. Now I'm going to want a bit of power on here so we can keep our ability to actually pitch control the aircraft. Because otherwise that can be a tendency to drop the nose when you've got rear-mounted engines like this one. Airspeed's good though. 90's our stall. So lose a bit more power here. Flaps set to full. Okay. Yeah, like I say, for £26, and considering the price that we paid of other jets of similar quality, they had much more systems depth and function. They also had more playability when it came to the cabins. Now, I'm going to include the Starship in that as well, because even though it's a turboprop, it's a business aircraft. So, a lot more playability in all the cabins of various other business jets we've seen. The CJ2s, the Citation X's, the Lear 35s have all given us lots more functionality in the interior. They've also given us systems depth behind the instruments when it comes to the actual performance of the aircraft and its systems functionality and study levelness. Is it study level? Yes, you could perform every procedure on this aircraft. But I think it could be more. The price is not terrible, but I do think it could have more. I think it could have been more refined. The exterior textures and some of the interiors definitely require to be high resolution. I do wonder if they've come across from the X-Plane or P3D versions. Someone please let me know if you've actually got those. Okay, round ourselves out here. There we go. Let's go exterior for a bit of reverser action there. As those clamshells slap into action. Nice. I like how it's telling me it's an executive aircraft, like I didn't guess already. Okay. Do we have a taxiway exit back there? We do. So what do I think of this aircraft overall? I think it's, as it stands, perhaps a little on the expensive side. I think there are elements that make me believe some parts of it are ported. The textures specifically. The model quality is good. The model actually quality is fine. I just think in places the textures show their age a little bit. And that does concern me slightly. There are definitely compatibility issues to 24 in terms of its brakes performance and other elements to the thing. The throttle thing was a weird one too. But it is meant for 2020. It's compatible with 24. Not perfectly, it would seem. The weather radar being just literally a picture, that bugs me because we know we have a working default weather radar in 2020. Why wasn't that included? And generally, otherwise, it's just a business jet. And in a market where we have quite a few of them, it has nothing particularly exciting standing out for it that make me want to say, buy this business jet. So, in that regard, I don't know if I can give it a recommendation. If you want to fly it, fly it. If you don't, don't. I purchased this with my own money, so with most of my add-ons that I review, that will be up for you guys to make a decision. And I don't stand here on ceremony for developers. I do it for you guys. Let me know what you think. Bye.